Hey, I'm Kenny Moran from Mobile Sessions, and welcome to this month's episode of What's the Story? Today, we've got a serious treat for you because we're here with the legendary drummer of Earth, Wind, and Fire, John Paris. So, John, it's been a while. Usually,
Yes, sir.
we feel like we've seen each other every couple of weeks or something,
Right.
but it's actually been a minute
It's been a
since we
minute.
got
Yeah,
together.
man.
You guys were out hard, Earth, Wind, and Fire last year, 80 something dates.
Yeah, 85, I hear. Something close to that.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of days to be doing,
Absolutely.
man, and still doing it as always. So now we're here. The last time we were here cutting drums was for Megan Trainor,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And we
Right
cut.
in the living room
That's right, because it
studio.
was right in the middle of COVID, so we cut your drums right
That's
here
right.
because
Yeah.
we couldn't have everybody in the same place.
Right.
So
That's right.
we ended up taking the studio to everyone's places and cutting the parts individually and then putting them back together.
Yeah, it was incredible.
And then it was like, this sounds so good. We can cut drums here
We gotta
anytime
do
we
it
want
again.
because
Yes.
they're on the record that way. So,
That's right.
so tell us something about you. Where are you from?
My hood, let me see. I have several. I was like the proverbial pinball in the family. Jersey, New Jersey, Trenton, New Jersey, Freehold, New Jersey, Daly City, California, Oakland, Sacramento, Oakland, LA.
What made you want to be a drummer? Because people don't know that you play a lot of instruments and you sing
Oh,
as
come
well.
on.
But why drummer?
I don't know. I think drums was always there. I was doomed. My uncle had a drum kit in the garage, a piano, a drum kit, and there was always like guitars and stuff. A few of my aunt, I mean, everybody in my family played something, but I don't know. It was a natural magnet, man. Anything rhythmic in a song, even if it was classical, I would always try to find the time subconsciously. And then when I was playing basketball, if you put a couple of basketballs in the gym, in my head, I'm hearing rhythm. I'm not listening to the coach. So it was always there. My grandmother used to, she was like my saving grace and the visionary, actually, because I'd pull the pots out of the cupboard and stuff. And, she could see that I was setting them up strategically, while everybody else was getting mad. Who's leaving frying pans on the floor in the kitchen? Leave that boy alone. He knows what he's doing. She could see it from an early age, so I just think it was always there.
Tell me about Bonnie and your first group, the first time you put a band together and you guys were playing.
The legendary Bonnie Boyer. She doesn't get enough credit for a bunch of us, man. Bonnie was a prodigy. She could play 1,000 instruments really well, and she was singing and playing flute in our band. Play flute and stuff. Nobody was really playing flute parts, and she would figure it out. But her gift was ensemble. She understood how everything fit together. My favorite story about her was how she taught me how to like breathe with the drums. The thing that Mr. Brown and George Clinton and those guys were doing, and we were playing some song by Parliament, and I'm just excited because I want everybody to know I'm practicing. I want to inspire. And she sat down on the drums. It's like, yo, listen. Playing it, and that one comes around, you take a breath. You gotta wait on it. She told me,
Right?
and I never forgot that, and it was so true. And that lesson kept coming back to me. But Bonnie, oh man, I could sing like Sly. She was the female Sly Stone back in the day.
Where did she end up singing?
Well, Sheila E She wanted a female voice, of course, to cover her for some background stuff, and she always found somebody, And her and Bonnie actually went to school together, though. But she joined Sheila's band probably 2 or 3 times, but during the Purple Rain run, and was singing and playing, and then Prince saw her, and then the rest was history.
And then Bonnie was with Prince.
Yeah. First big gig, I would say, well, that spawned off of being in a group with Sheila also. Pre-Prince, we had a bunch of us in the band. Romy Geroso, Skylark was in there. Skylark wrote System of Survival. Cat Gray was in that band. There was an artist over there that Don had signed to Capitol, O'Brien, who is another one of my favorite artists, needed a guitar player. He pulled Romy in. Year goes by. They need a drummer. Romy goes, I know a guy. Don comes up, auditions Levi Caesar at the same time on guitar while he was in the Bay, and me for drums for that. And a few weeks later, I got the call to go to L.A. and work with O'Brien. Don was right there, though, producing everything. So we were over there at Larrabee every day, pulling and pushing knobs, singing and writing and stuff. And he pretty much taught us how to get comfortable and figure out our way around the studio. Right. So that was O'Brien and Don Cornelius. Where do I start? There's a lot of funny stories, but he was another one that would just give you a jewel every time he opened his mouth. It didn't matter. He understood what a lot of people didn't get about, the difference between chops and, composition, song, hooks, dynamics, color, energy, when to kung fu, when not to. He just knew. He knew, and he wanted you to know. So the thing that I really miss about those times was rehearsal. Mm-hmm. The man would, so the one really funny thing was I was playing. I auditioned for a group called Madhouse. Now, that's Matt Fink, the doctor, they call him. Eric Leeds on second, Levi Caesar, part of the revolution. Prince would do jazz records on Eric Leeds. And, once they started putting R&B kind of grooves underneath, and I was like, that's right up my alley. So it was jazz colors with the R&B feel. So a few days go by, and I'm getting a little comfortable, but I still had that concept of, inspiring. I want everybody to know that I'm in there. I got this energy, so it's playing this one cymbal, this one thing, I'm playing this ride cymbal. And this also goes to his hand-eye coordination, because, the song was fast, and all of a sudden, grabbed his stick, and he went, he whispering. And he gave the stick back to me, and he watched me to make sure that I was just going to tap. Gets off the stage, walks all the way back to the front.
Right.
And so, he says, we're playing colors here. We got great sound in here. You don't have to bash unless it's necessary. I was like, God, dog it. Trust yourself. Those little things, Right. We're not musicians anymore. We're actors. I'm like, what? Okay, I got you. Once again, my sister, Sheila, she would recommend me for gigs that I didn't have any business on. So the story goes like this. Patti was already in pretty much, pre-production for the rehearsal. And the drummer that they had was out on another tour, and he couldn't make the rehearsals at all, or maybe very few. But so she called Sheila and asked if she could sub for like 3 weeks or whatever, until her drummer got back. She said, I can't do it. I'm with Prince, but my drummer can do it. He can come in and sub for us. So I went in and auditioned and got it. This was like 89 or so. So once again, through family, I ended up there, but I stayed with her for about 8 years. And there were moments there that reminded me a lot of the Prince expectation every night. You know, it's like you said, she knows what it is and maybe not be able to articulate it like we would, but she knows.
Let's go back all the way first circle. The first time you see Earth, Wind, and Fire as a kid.
Wow, that would be 1970.
Something in there.
76, the Spirit Tour. And I got to sit about that, 30 feet away from Freddie White to see how it was really done, with all this energy and control and, man, all this music going around. And that's when I figured it out. Okay, it is Kung Fu. Okay, I got to open up my Jeet Kune Do books again because I want to do that. I want it to feel like that. I want to move people the way he did.
So now we fly way forward. You're like a kid. You're seeing your favorite group. You see Freddie White live for the first time. And you're like, this is it. Now we come way forward. You're now the drummer for Earth, Wind, and Fire. What's that like?
I've been trying to articulate that since the day I got here, and there's still no words, It is literally one of my favorite bands. But, yeah, if I had the choice, and I think it's way above me choosing, it would have most definitely been Earth, Wind, and Fire. And I still have it's crazy. They think I'm nuts. Some of the fans go, how do you play those same songs over and over? If you knew my life, man, the chances of me getting here out of anybody else in the world is not slim. It's less than that.
What are we going to start telling these young drummers? Because we have electronic drums, we have samplers, we have programming, we have drum machines, and we have acoustic drums. And if you want to really play live, you kind of got to do all of them, which is not something you had to do. You had to learn how to play. What would you start telling kids to do now? Like, what would you tell them to start doing?
Pray. They're in trouble, man. They're in trouble because, they do have a lot more, access to information. But what we had was like fellowship, and we could go see somebody from here to there, A to Z, play together with another musician. It's all about ensemble. And I think what saved me, which they don't have access to a lot, I moved to New York when I was 6, first year of school ever. And my aunt took me to the Apollo every weekend. So I saw Mr. Brown, of course. Yeah, Nina Simone, James Brown, the Raylettes, the original Raylettes with Ray Charles, The Temptations, Sam Cooke, Jackie Wilson. I mean, the Orioles. Everybody I saw in their prime. And, man, I left out of there. When I went back to Trenton, I was like this. Going to school, all I could think about was what I'd just seen. But James Brown was the one that tied it all together for me as far as impact, with energy and musicians and what each person to do as far as repetition, when to cut loose. When you get to see that, man, it's almost like a light switch. But the first thing they got to do is just go watch and see a lot of musicians and how they interact. Every time I saw somebody play, I learned something. Even if it was what not to do, it was exciting to me. So camaraderie, man, and, fellowshipping with musicians, man, that's the key.
So let's look at this. You're a DW artist. You're one of their biggest artists, and we have this amazing kit. And this is just the recording kit, so this isn't the one that you tour with.
Not yet.
But now, Roland
Woohoo!
has purchased DW. Man. And Roland is the king of V-drums.
Yeah.
And they've done some just amazing things in the last couple of years that have just pushed that envelope. So we have a V-drum kit here. Ooh. So we're going to get you into the V-drum kit.
Yay.
And take a look at the marriage of what you can do with your live drums and what you can do with V-drums and how there could be a hybrid.
Let's do it. I'm excited. Let's go.
Hey. Welcome to Mobile Sessions Atmos Room with the V-Drum kit.
Wow. Tell me what's going on. What you got popping?
This is the new, let me see, it's the Roland V-Drum 5 kit, I guess, with all their acoustic shells set up.
Oh boy.
It sounds awesome, it sounds amazing, and it feels awesome. It feels
Like
amazing.
the real deal.
You know.
Okay.
They definitely
I've never seen like the shells like that before.
right. Like you saw the snare you've seen like that.
Yeah. But
Right? But the full tom set, it really just is awesome. The brain it comes with is really good. The sounds in it are good. But what's really cool about the brain is that you can load in all your own samples. And there's a lot of memory to load in samples. And or loops even. And not just drum loops, you could put guitar loops. You could do songs in it. And it also has a mix in. You see? So the cool thing about that is that you could have someone else just coming into it while you guys are working, practicing, and doing whatever. Or even if it was on stage and you wanted to be listening to the kit directly, you can take a mix in from Monitor World that comes right in here.
Oh, nice.
And then you do your own blend between your
own
kits.
blend. Yeah. Oh.
You know.
So when you say sample, you can assign whatever instrument, whatever sound you want, put it wherever you want.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Well, let's sit down and play and let's do something.
Let's see what we can get here. Dang. All right, I'll take them.
So
That's nuts.
it's kind of crazy. Right?
Wow.
So you were also listening to some of the new Roland headphones, the V-Mode Roland headphones. How did they sound?
Yeah, man, I was tripping over it because it sounded like, what is it, the old school term? Quadraphonic, like it was around, like going around in circles or something like that. It was crazy.
It's pretty unbelievable how good they sound. So you didn't hear that, we recorded everything you were just doing. So we recorded all the audio, but we also recorded all the MIDI. So the crazy thing about recording the MIDI like that is that now we can manipulate that. We can change the samples that are being played back. We can change the whole drum kit that's playing back. We can, quantize it, not quantize it, do whatever you want.
I was going to ask that. So that's
I can sit here and I'm going to show you something of stuff that you recorded. It's just it's gonna play now. So you can see that fast. So, I've been programming drums forever, and it's always been, okay, I'm going to program these drums, then we're going to set up and do a live session. Can you play what I programmed?
Right.
And can you play it live?
Yeah.
So it's live and not programmed. And then I'll go and spend the time and be like, okay, well, let's drum add, drum replace, add some sounds underneath the live sounds. And we get great results, and we've always done it that way, and it's been awesome. When it's live on stage, you're always playing a live kit.
Yep.
And we kind of need to. It's part of the show. It's part of the show. But people are using triggers, and that's nothing new. We have a trigger on the kick, trigger on the snare usually, so it can go to that underlaying sample that they want. And sometimes there's little trigger modules, so you can just hit a clap or something on the side, Really cool. But I've always had in my mind, being crazy when I'm doing all these sessions, what I want is a hybrid kit in the studio. I want the live drums, but I want that kind of trigger thing at the same time, because to me, when I'm doing the session and I'm producing a song, if you could just be playing it the way I want it to be, the way I'm hearing it in real time, opposed to I'm going to program it all. Can you play it over top? Okay, now I'm going to
Right.
sound replace it. I'm not sure what it's going to be.
Exactly. I got
So
you.
we've been working with Roland for the last couple of months, and obviously Roland and DW did their merger. So now we have the best of both worlds. We have incredible live drums, and we have incredible electronic drums. So I always thought, man, if we could build a real kit where I would have bits and pieces of both in the studio. You know, these are real drum stands that can do things. So we can actually pop this off and all of a sudden be like, I want your real cymbals up top. I want your real hi-hats, because that's like a different kind of flavor. I want to have another 1 or 2 snares, like you do live.
Right.
Not uncommon for drummers to have 2, if not 3 snares
Absolutely.
set up,
Yeah.
right? And so what I'd probably want to do is sit there and say, here's our hybrid kit when we come into the studio. We have like a couple of live snares set up. We have the kick set up to the, you know, whatever sounds we want. And then we have all the V-drums in between, and we have the live cymbals and stuff. I want to have these things where I can already have worked out particular things, what it's going to be. And then when you're playing it, then you play it.
Right. Right.
You see, because
Gotcha.
you're gonna do the things that you do as a drummer that I may not do. You know, and I can always do something later
Right.
still.
Exactly.
But
Yep.
this way we could be set up, mic'd up, all in, and that's the hybrid kit. And that's the way I look at it. Look, what I'm gonna do
That's
is
amazing.
we have a drum kit on there. We just changed the drum kit, right?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna play some of that same MIDI back, and let's see what happens when it starts hitting it. Totally different thing.
Holy moly.
Right? So we can do all of that and come up with that. And imagine, you know, like we're doing an album.
Wait, I need to digest the magnitude of what just happened right now. You just recorded that live, and you're switching drum kits live.
Yep,
Wow.
that's what I'm doing. I think, without looking at it too much, but I think this is the pattern. Whenever you move things in it, the other cool thing about the brain in Roland is that it automatically remembers everything. So you don't have to go through the process of actually saving the kit. If you want to change a sound, you can change the sound on the fly and it'll remember it. If you want to export it, like, you know, so you have it saved in your library in another place, yeah, you can do that.
That's insane. I love that. Yeah, this is this kit right now with that
Yep.
other beat, with that played with the other sounds.
With the other sounds.
Incredible.
Crazy.
Yes. I would never get anything else done.
Well, John, this has been amazing.
Man, I'm blown away. Man, I cannot wait to dig into this a little deeper, man, and do some of these things you're talking about, because this is like, wow. This is the ultimate drum party right here. That's what I'm saying. This is incredible.
This really is.
Wow. Had a ball, man. Thank you, my brother.
Yes, man.
Don't wait another
Always has
5,000 years, man.
Right.
But dude, when you go away, you come back with stuff like this.
Go and come back, but I always bring something with
That's
you.
right.
So, Mobile Sessions, what's the story? John Paris.